Hi class, welcome to Vector Graphics. My name is Kristen Lilly and I'm very excited to be teaching this class to you because there's so many different things that you can do with Adobe Illustrator, the tool that we use to create vector graphics. And in our live class when we meet every week, we'll talk about all the different things that we'll be doing. And then these recorded sessions are really to show you demonstrations of the specific skills that you'll need to manage and work around Illustrator. So you can see here my screen. The first thing you do after you've opened Illustrator is to create a new document. So if I create new, you can see up here there are different formats. There are sort of templates. So if you're doing a website, there's standard sizes for screen ratios and such. And so for print, they're paper sizes. So we're going to hit print. We're going to start with print. And you can see here, this is letter size, but there's these numbers that you're not familiar with. And tabloid has some different numbers. What those are points. And type is measured by points. If you've ever gone to type a letter and you see 12-point type, the standard, that is measured with points. We're going to change this to inches. So there's the inches, and so now you see that it's 8.5 by 11, a standard size sheet of paper. I'm not going to touch any of these other things for right now. We're just going to go straight into create. Okay, so here's an 8.5 by 11 size, and this window, your window may not look exactly like this right now. The windows here are these different boxes that I can click on and different things pop open and shut. And these boxes here can actually be brought down into there as well. So I can bring pieces into here. And so then I can just see this view. You can pull these out. So if there's something you're using a lot, you can pull it out. If there's something you're not using at all, you can click this little button right here when it stops spinning. It's taking a long time. Okay, there we go. So you can click the button to make a box disappear. There's not much memory on my machine right now because I'm also running video. So at any rate, so here, these tools look a little bit different now that they've pushed over to the side. So, and then here are the tools that you go to use the most, pens, pencils, all that sort of stuff. So you think of that as the things that you'll cut and draw and all that. And then over here are things that we will color and fill and flip. The main menu is up on the white bar, and in PCs and Macs, both the programs are really very similar. The area that they're not so similar is in preference. I know that's a little bit different. I think preference might be at the bottom of the list on a PC. But so what I want to show you is when you are not opening a document, you can go into preferences and go to units and change the units to inches so that whenever you open up the document, you don't have to change it from points to inches anymore. So you'll do this when you don't actually have a document open. Okay, and anything else that you would like to choose. Some people might want to have a different background that's lighter or darker. You can have white, you can have dark. So you can explore those on your own. The other thing that, so there's preferences and then there's the window. And what I'd like, if you do not see everything as I do here, you would go to Window, go to Workspace, and you want Essentials Classic opened. Essentials Classic gives you a lot of things open right away. At some point, you'll know what you're working with and what you're not working with, but to have everything pretty much available to you in the very beginning, these are the basic tools we'll be using. View is what's happening with your screen, where if you're zooming in or out, and guidelines are under view. And I like to show my rulers So I'm coming in here to show rulers. I didn't click it enough. Let's go back again. Show rulers. And so when I'm in rulers, I can pull down guidelines. So I can pull them from the left or the right. And then when I go back into view, if I go to guides, I can clear those guides or lock those guides, whichever I want to do. There's other options in here that you may or may not like. You might like to show a whole grid. And then there's also snapping to a grid or a pixel or a point. If you are finding later that you're trying to align something and it keeps sort of jiggling and not doing what you want, come in here and check whether snap to a point or pixel is set, because you might prefer not to have that. I'm going to hide this grid. So now I'm going to start by teaching you some of these tools. I'm going to show you the shape tool. So I've got this box here, and I'm going to go and draw this box. Okay, and then when I click off of the box, you don't see the box. It's still there, right? But you're not seeing it because there's no fill or line around this box. It's just where a box will go. And so if I want to actually see the box, I have to go and fill it with some color. So you see, I've clicked on this color palette. Here's the background and here's the outline, or the fill, I should say. And so when you see this red line across it, it means that it's blank. So if I have the outline here and I go and I pick a color, now when I unclick, it actually is a color. It's that blue, and I can click on this and I can change that color. It looks blue right now because our guidelines are blue. So when I click off, you can see now that it's that red color, and you can see it even better if I go and I thicken that up. So this line, we call it the stroke. You can see these little lines here. And so it's 1 point. So lines are also measured with points. So I'm going to change that to 8 points. So you can really see that stroke now. And then I can go and I can fill this. So if I just go over here, and I've been working on this, and I hit the fill and I hit green, nothing happened because I wasn't actually selected on that. So you always have to make sure you select what you want to work with, okay? So there we've got this box. So I can make some circles too. So here I have this box. It's this little teeny tiny arrow here. Well, one of the things about Adobe programs is the littlest teeny arrows have so much information that you need to access. So in here, if I click here, I can get the ellipse tool, which allows me to make a rounded shape, okay? So these were the colors that were showing up in the color, so it automatically used those colors that were showing up there. So now if I hold down the Shift key, so see the shape of this oval, but when I hit the Shift key, it turns into a perfect circle. If I go back to the rectangle and I hold down the Shift key, it makes a perfect square. Now I want to show you the line tool. So if I take this line and I draw that, when I let it go, it's turning out to this outline. You can toggle back and forth between these. So if I click on this circle and I toggle back and forth, so if I were to hit this line and toggle, it disappears because there's no color there. So you need to make sure that a line has the outline on it. And I'm going to make that also thicker so that you can see it. Okay, so there are our basic shapes. So the way I was holding down the Shift key to create those boxes, you can also use the Shift key to create a line that is within 45-degree angles. So if you want to make sure you're drawing a straight line across the page, you hold down the Shift key. Okay, so you'll use your Shift key quite a lot. I am going to delete these now, and I am going to draw another line here, and I'm going to show you a few more aspects of the stroke. So when you click on the stroke, all I see here is the weight, but there's a lot more stuff it can do. So here, these arrows, that opens up a whole world. And also this here, which we call the hamburger, that shows you different options too. So if you're looking for something, you know that there's a way to do it, just look in behind the little arrows, okay? So now I have my line selected here, and it's got the cap of it is rectangular. I can make the cap of it round. I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better there, okay? So now what I was using to zoom in, I was actually using on the Mac, it's Command and Space Bar, and if I want to zoom out, I'm using Option Command Space Bar. I am going to post a sheet of the different command keys for PCs as well. I have to find one still. So that's how we can change the thickness of the line, the shape of the line. We can change the quality of the line. We can make it a dashed line. Notice how they're rounded. I can make them square as well. And I can change the size of these dashes. Say I make it 50 points, and the space between I can make 20 points. And I can make it irregular too. I could make this 30 and then 20. So you can play with that. You can also, I'm going to undash that, and I'm going to give you the option, show you how to do, I've not clicked on my line again, sorry. I'm going to click on that, not make it dashed, and I'm going to show you can change an arrowhead, and you can change the end of the arrow. You can play with different fluctuations in the line. So there's a lot of different things that you can explore. Well, that's quite a fancy arrow we've got there now, isn't it? So I'm going to delete that, and I am going to show you when I have a box, you can also use the stroke element. So I'm going to give this box a fill, and I'm going to change this outline to a blue one. I'm going to go into fill, and I'm going to make, to stroke and make it a thicker line. Now I can make it rounded, but it doesn't change anything. There's no caps, but I can make the corners rounded, or I could make them chiseled as well. The other thing that I can do, see the blue guideline in the middle? You can switch that so that the guideline is on the outside or on the inside, okay? So these are the basic shape tools. I'm going to stop this video now and come back on, and you'll have a video on typography, okay? Take care.